Hello everyone, and welcome to the fourth scenario in the Saladin campaign. This scenario is called the Siege of Jerusalem, and it is quite a siege-like scenario. The objective is to destroy the 5 towers that are within Jerusalem, and no, they won't build anymore, so you don't have to worry about that. And first of all, this is probably the worst town center placement of all time. At the start of the scenario, you're actually blessed with just a multitude of sheep. For whatever reason, if you explore around, you will find so many sheep. I think I had at least around 30 sheep, no joke, and I harvested them all, and it just gives you a ton of food to start with. So that's really nice because you don't have to worry about food for farms. And especially with the way that I place this town center, probably one of the worst placements of all time for a town center, so I didn't want to get close to the wood and gold, that's why I did it. And you want to build a castle up there pretty soon. That castle actually will not come into play very much in this scenario, but I will build a castle later on that will actually bear the brunt of the attacks by Jerusalem, so you don't have to worry about too much about that. Also, Jerusalem mostly just sends cavalry after you. They send knights, which later become cavaliers, and cataphracts after you. So you really don't have to worry too much about them because your Mamelukes will just chew them to pieces. Mamelukes are amazing against cavalry. So I started collecting gold pretty early. You do start with enough resources to build a castle, which is pretty nice, and there's also a very large stone patch pretty close to your starting area. I created another town center just to make some farms around because the first town center that I created cannot support any farms around it just because of the wood and the gold that was in the way. I built some stables as well, but they didn't really come into play. The only units that I really used in this game were Mamelukes. There's a stone pile, I'm just showing it there. Mamelukes and trebuchets. Those are really the only units that you need. The trebuchets are really good at taking out the castles, and Mamelukes are probably just the most ridiculously overpowered units in this game. You'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. I had a force of literally about 20 Mamelukes, and I took out hundreds and hundreds of enemy soldiers, and they just could not do anything about it. I don't even know if there's a unit that can kill Mamelukes pretty decently, because they just destroyed everything in their path. And I didn't really find any need to build any other units other than these things. So the Mamelukes destroy cavalry really good, which is nice because the enemies, which are the Hospitallers, the Knights Templar, and Jerusalem, create mostly cavalry. They'll also create some infantry and siege weapons as well, but the Mamelukes kill those very well. Here I'm just scouting out Jerusalem. I'm trying to find the 4 towers. There are 4 that surround the walls outside the city. 1 bomber tower, and I believe the other 3 are keeps or watchtowers, something like that. And there's also 1 bomber tower inside the city. You have to be kind of careful to put your trebuchets on no attack stance, because if they destroy any of the monasteries that are inside the city by accident, and a couple of the towers are pretty close by monasteries, if you destroy them, any of them, you lose the game. So I'd highly recommend putting your trebuchets on no attack stance, which does make it a bit annoying because after the trebuchets unpack, you have to click on the tower again to attack it, which I believe is a glitch if you have them on no attack stance. But it's much better than having to play all the way through the scenario, forgetting to save and then lose. So if you saw my castle placement up there, other than the Mamelukes, the castle just takes out everything, and you can just see the sheer power of the Mamelukes right there. They're just completely unstoppable. I had literally about 19 or 20 Mamelukes, and that was nearly all I needed the entire scenario. But also that castle will just that will easily wipe out any attacks that Jerusalem makes towards your base. I had very, very few experiences with the Hospitallers or Knights Templar attacking. Jerusalem apparently just had a multitude of resources because they sent tons and tons of units after me. However, the other 2 enemies in this game didn't really send a whole lot after me, except for when I destroyed their 2 castles that are within Jerusalem. Both the Knights Templar and Hospitallers both have a castle inside Jerusalem each, and they will create Teutonic Knights. And luckily, I had no idea this would be the case because Teutonic Knights are tanks, but Mamelukes actually take out them very fast. So that was kind of nice. However, the Teutonic Knights probably held up better against the Mamelukes and everything else. I did get all the upgrades at the blacksmith, as well as the Saracens' unique technology that gives the Mamelukes extra hit points, as well as obviously the elite Mameluke technology, which works wonders. And I decided to destroy the town center in Jerusalem here. I believe they do have another one somewhere inside the city. I just decided to destroy that one just for the laughs, I guess. And here I destroyed the Hospitallers' castle, which is the orange player. They sent some Teutonic Knights after me, which did a little bit of damage, but I was able to survive it pretty well. My Mamelukes just ate up wave after wave. Once they started dying down in number, though, they weren't quite as effective, and the Teutonic Knights were able to get some hits in and stuff, as well as the enemy's cavalry. But with just my 2 trebuchets, I was able to destroy the first 4 towers, and the last tower is in the middle of Jerusalem, and I decided, you know, instead of sending in trebuchets, I'm just going to take all my Mamelukes and just attack that bomber tower. So that's what I did, and I was able to take it down pretty fast because Mamelukes do melee damage and not range damage, even though they are a ranged unit, which means they're pretty good against buildings. So that's about all for the scenario. It's actually really fun and enjoyable. I enjoyed this one a lot. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more in the future, and subscribe, and farewell.